Alright, I can't get this to work one way. I'm going to try another way here. 23daytrade.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I was asked, what does my screen look like? And how do I go about looking at the markets? And I've made a custom screen today. It shows 3 screens, which is I use 3 right now is what I've been able to work out. And I'm out of the trade right now, so I figured I would record and let you see. So the main screen that you see recorded is screenshot to go out. Most of the time, what you see the screen is this to here. You see the time and the zone, and then you see my tick chart. Now, along those lines, over here, this is where I put my 5-minute chart right here. And then I have a 15-minute, this chart right here, over here, this is more of my longer term chart. On this chart, I'll have my 15, sometimes I'll look at the 30-minute, 1 hour, and the dailies. So this is the one that I change all the time, and then I minimize it, maximize it, pull it over. When you see me talking about it, usually when I maximize it, I just maximize it on the screen. And you can see that I'm sitting with positive today. This is day 3 for me, by the way. And I have countless combines right now. I have no idea how many. Actually, I don't really want to show some of the stuff that's on the screen. But hey, it is what it is. So you can. Oh, well, it is what it is. I'll just. Here's the fill report, working orders, rejected. That's what I like to see here. Here's my spreadsheet. This is where I put my spreadsheet on right here. If you can see that or not. Okay, obviously this is showing. And then you can see my spreadsheets right in here. I have the relax right there underneath it. That's what I've put myself on the screen here. So I'm keeping track of my entry point. Right now I have them locked at the high and the low, or what was the low. I think the low is lower now, it's 71.71, but when we were starting the session, this was the low and this was the high. And then I'll use the open. I'll put the open over here and plug that in. And then I'll plug in my entry point. Like for instance, I got in at 72, I think 13 on the second trade today. Yeah. On a failure bar. You can see my initial entry was 34 and then it came back. It took me out at 32. And this entry, I got in at 13 and then I trailed it behind. I was trailing basically 20 ticks behind at the end. When it made new lows, I said, all right, how much do I want profit on this trade to bump my account over here? I said, well, I want plus 20, and then I got 1 tick favorable on top of that because of the positive slippage that you get in your you get positive slippage in the combine and FTP because it's obviously not real money. It's just pretend type of stuff. So you're working your way to fund it, right? Alright, so that's my screen. That's how I look at stuff. Hopefully that helps. And this is the main screen right here. My main screen, what I'm looking at. And then you can see I keep track of what's going on in the overall market, where we are, where I think we can go on the short. What kind of profit levels am I looking for? 12p, 3p. You know, when I plug in these numbers, so for instance, I plug in my entry point, on the second time, 72.13. I was looking at 95, 77. We went down to 77. We went on a 2P move from there. Original entry point was 72.34, which is what I had on the charts to start with. And I was looking at 71.80. 71.80 was a 3P move, so I got very aggressive. After we made 71.80, I was very aggressive on my stop. At the time that I got stopped out at this here is where I got stopped right there. This was the low, so 73, and I had 93 stop. So if it didn't get me here, it would have got me on this move right back up here to pivot. So I didn't want to see a move back to pivot on this particular move, and the trading bar I used was the failure bar to start with. So the failure bar definition for me, if I define what this bar is and what this means to me, what it means, define failure bar, let's just call it failure. So I call this RBV, and it's a red bar volume, and I call it a failure, or RBV failure. So like that. So I call this a failure bar. So when I'm in here, if it doesn't want to go up off of this, then it becomes failure. Now, if you look back here, you'll see that there was lots of interest to get the market below 21, and that's why I came in early at 32, trying to look for that. But after that failed and got stopped out, I was looking, all right, where can interest be after that? Well, this is a 1P move down right there. And then that was my entry point was right here. But this was a 1P down move, and then I said, well, I'll look to take a shot between 1 to 3, 1 to 2. Since we already went 1, I was looking at, okay, where's a good spot to get in between 1 and 2? Well, right here was what I was looking at. This, the lines, and then if it failed on this down move, I wanted in. So I ran with a 10-tick stop. And it didn't run it, and it went on down. And once we got 20 ticks underneath right here at the pivot, I started trailing about 20 ticks behind it. That's how I handled today, knowing that it's a failure bar and the market can easily head back up. It wasn't a high blue bar volume. In other words, this bar back here is not blue in color. If it's blue in color, I'm going to be a little bit less aggressive on profit stop management behind it. But knowing that this is a failure bar, what I believe is that we're going to, I believe we're going to head down to a certain point, and then it's going to rebound and move its way back up until we see an offsetting blue bar volume to take care of the red. So basically, if it fails, it's going to make some lower lows, but eventually it's going to find its bottom and then head back up. So it's kind of like take what you can. So I guess that's the way I look at a failure bar. Take what you can in the market and then walk away. So right now I'm up 23 ticks on the session off of 2 trades. And unless I see a high blue bar volume now, I will stand aside. So well, I want to show you the full screen of what I look like, what it looks like. So if I want to look at the 5 minutes, then I blow it up like this, and then I look at it on my screen. Where do we see? So we see the lows down here. We see this coming through here. We travel through pivot. So more importantly, this is the one that I use over on the side. So at the beginning of the morning, I always look at the dailies. So here's the daily inside this range that we're trading. Sometimes it's easier if I pull it over so you can see a little bit more. And these are all the pivot lines all together. All pivot through R3 and pivot through S3. And this is where I talk about the top down. So I'll look at the dailies. I'll come down to the hour. What are we doing on the hour? This is what I saw today on the hourlies. Let me put it over a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So what I was looking at is if we would get below, the screen draw tool. If we would get below this right here, we had a chance to head down. So I was trying to get this as my first entry above, trying to catch it coming down, and stopped and pulled me out. And the second entry I got in below that line, looking for a continuation move. And that was the continuation came off of that failure bar. So we had a high red bar volume that could have stopped the market, but what it did is it went down, it came up a little bit, and then it broke through that right there, that high volume bar. So I got in right underneath that and then took it down with it. So I was able to catch that red bar volume from here down, well, you see the exit right there, but I didn't catch all of it. But I was looking for the market to get down to the lows down here on that move, at least. And then I was hoping to, profit a little bit more on that trade. But I was okay with trailing 20 ticks behind it today. I was okay with that. Trail 20. I was trailing anywhere between 15 to 20 to 20 ticks behind today. So move that over, move that back. This is what I was looking at today. That was the technical signal. I was looking at failure line on that, on what I thought that we could come down. Now, what are we going to do now? Your guess is as good as mine. We have this easy. We could easily head back up to 72.22 as go down. I would think that current market conditions and all the red bars that we're seeing, that the market's going to head back up here to 722, 72.22 and higher. So we've already hit the lows without anything left to do. If with everything's being equal, this could be the low today, 71.71, and then now we're going to go and attempt to knock out the high up here at 72.60 to see what's up above this. Without any true market direction, what we'll see is that the market participants sometimes will run the lows and run the highs in the same trading session. All right, that's it. That's all I want to show you the full screen here today. Hope that helps, especially you, Parker. You're asking me, how do I look at, this is what's on my screen, but if you look across, I'm on 3 screens across the board. So I've been able to, I could put everything on 2, but I prefer to look at it this way so that I can see the overall market. And then I have my spare computer, which I use when you watch me from behind, you can see all the pictures behind me. That's my gaming computer that I usually have my music on the background and whatnot behind it. Or doing, just if I want to look up something on YouTube or want to do some research, I use that computer on the side to do the research. But my trading computer is dedicated just for trading. I actually have 4 screens here, but I've put everything on 3. Hopefully that helps. Bye for now. This is Dave Knight here at 123 Day Trade. Have a great rest of your trading week. I'll see you on the next video. Put together. Bye. All right, that's the end of this video. So that hopefully, I know it's small, but hopefully you can get the gist of how I use 3 screens. I had to do it this way because the render of the video wouldn't render the other way. So hopefully this will work.